Okay, so in today's video, we are taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy Tab A8 here. We are going to talk about whether it's still relevant in 2023, and we will also cover what you should expect after using this guy here for about a year. Let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so the simple answer to that first question is yes. The Samsung Galaxy Tab A8 here is still very relevant in 2023. Now, that doesn't mean that this is the best budget tablet out there. In fact, there are a number of other tablets out there for you to choose from. Generally, I push for this particular one when it comes to budget tablets simply because Samsung is a more reputable brand, right? So if you go with them, you know that you get more of a comprehensive package because they make a number of other, devices where you can kind of sink into that ecosystem and be able to enjoy, that continuity that exists, among their devices. But I digress here. So this tablet here is still very relevant, right? We're looking at a 10.5 inches here. This is a TFT display, by the way. The resolution here is 1200 by 1920. So pretty decent display. It's not going to offer you something that you would get from a premium tablet, but it does offer something for you to be able to enjoy entertainment or, watching movies and things like that on here. Plus, it's boasting a Unisoc T618 here, which is a chipset that is more on the budget side, right? So it's a budget chipset, and you also have that coupled with 3 gigs of RAM. So of course, as you purchase this, you're not really anticipating to be using this for high-level productivity, right? So when it comes down to just performance, it's definitely, on par with what you should be expecting from a budget tablet, if not a bit more compared to, the other no-name brands, right? I've made a number of videos on this particular tablet where I talked about performance, right? So it's not something where you should be expecting high-level performance, but when it comes down to your, day-to-day stuff, day-to-day tasks, little things like that, navigating the internet, checking your emails, you can even play some light to moderate games on here. You could definitely get some level of entertainment done on here without any issues. Generally, for people who are just looking for a tablet where they might just be lounging or just laying on the couch or maybe on the bus or something, they want to watch a movie, this is a pretty decent pickup for that. Plus, you have the headphone jack here. You also do have a USB Type-C port there along with a quad speaker setup, which is really nice and surprisingly crazy loud with those 4 speakers there. Now, these are not tuned by AKG like the other Samsung Galaxy tablets, but still, the speakers here do produce pretty loud sound. I've already made a review of this tablet and I've made a bunch of other videos covering this tablet, so make sure to check out those videos if you're looking for a more comprehensive take. Now, with all of that out of the way, I am happy to report that this tablet, 1 year later, is still performing the same way it was, when I first bought it, right? So in terms of performance, it hasn't gone down. Let's start off even with battery, right? So battery is still pretty good. It's doing much better than I expected. Not that I was expecting that a year later it would just, go down the drain, but it hasn't even moved. I just feel like I'm still getting a full day using this tablet here. So if you buy this guy here after using it for about a year, you should be expecting, still a full day out of your battery. Now, another reason why that battery lasts, so long would probably be the fact that most people who buy this tablet are not buying it for high-level productivity. Well, I'm not saying that if you buy this, you shouldn't do a lot of things, but I'm saying most people who, who are considering this tablet do so because they're looking for something, simple and easy to use. Now, speaking of specs and performance, still pretty good. Right now, it is running Android 12. When it first dropped, it was loaded with Android 11. I know a lot of people who are considering this tablet may not be familiar with the world of tablets. Generally when we say that a tablet is being supported and the support runs out, it doesn't mean that the tablet stops working. It simply means that Samsung stops supporting the tablet, meaning they stop sending you all of these major updates, but you still will be able to use your tablet. So you'll still be able to download your stuff, your apps are still gonna work. Of course, it doesn't mean that nothing changes. Obviously, there'll be some stuff that's not as optimized as, the tablets that will then be current, will be current at the time yours has run out of this update. So keep that in mind as you buy this. Another thing to keep in mind here is that if you are interested in the upcoming Samsung Galaxy S line, make sure to reserve. I'm still pushing that because that is free money on the table. Make sure to go ahead and reserve. Even if you're remotely just thinking about picking up one of those, make sure to reserve right now because you can save up to $100 off. And of course, it's a no commitment thing, right? So if you just add your email and you're pretty much done. Now that right there should be the video, really, right? I think we've covered pretty much both questions. It's still very relevant in 2023. There are other choices out there, but this is still a fine choice if you were to go for this. And in fact, if you are in the market right now for one, make sure to grab one or to jump on the link that I have in the description right now, because this is currently on sale for $179 as opposed to $230 on the Samsung website. Now, the link that I have in the description is a dynamic link, so it's going to take you to, it should take you to the Samsung website, but because it's a dynamic link, if that deal has run out, it's going to reroute you to the next best deal. So if Samsung has the best deal, it's going to take you there. If Walmart has the best deal, it's going to take you. If Best Buy has the best deal, it will take you there. So make sure to jump on that. And also, just so you know, on Black Friday and let's just say back in the holiday season, this guy went as low as $150. So seeing it at $179 means it's still pretty good. That's still a pretty good deal, and I would definitely recommend, if you are in the market for a budget tablet, for you to go pick up this guy here for $179. Now, another heads up that I want to add here, in case you're looking for something that supports a stylus, a Samsung S Pen specifically, this guy does not support a Samsung S Pen, but you can of course pick up a capacitive pencil off of Amazon or eBay and be able to take down notes or draw and all that stuff. But I have to warn you, it is not as optimized as a Samsung S Pen to properly work on here. And plus, palm projection is non-existent, so the user experience may not be what you would get, say, if you had picked up a Tab S6 Lite, for example, that comes with a native, Samsung S Pen. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So it's not really meant to support a Samsung S Pen, but if you must use one, you could definitely pick up a capacitive pencil and you will be able to use it on here. Again, if you're watching this and this is your first time, on the channel, you're not familiar with this, I could just do a quick rundown here in terms of physical features here. Like I mentioned, you get a power button, volume rocker there. You have a quad speaker setup, like I said. You have your mic there. You have a USB Type-C port, which is a standardized port. That's always good to have. You have your headphone jack, of course, which is pretty nice to have. That's one thing that's disappearing on, the current generation tablets. On the back here, you have an 8-megapixel rear-facing camera here. It's not meant for you to take pictures that you're going to be posting on Instagram. It's good for you to be scanning documents and things like that. And on the front, you have a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, for selfies and video, Zoom calls, and all that good stuff. As long as the setting, when you're doing Zoom calls, as long as the setting is well lit, you should be fine. If it's not well lit, of course, you will be having some visual noise. Obviously, it won't be as clear, right? So just another thing to keep in mind there. Like I mentioned, there's a 32 gigs of internal storage, but it does have a, micro SD card slot here for you to be able to expand that internal storage at up to 1 terabyte, right? So right now, 32 gigs of internal storage, but if you want to go ahead and bump it up to 128, 256, 512, up to 1 terabyte, you can do that. That is a very nice addition. It doesn't support the Samsung S Pen, like I said. It does have a chipset here, which is the T618. I said that I wasn't going to dive into the specs, but that's just the chipset there, and that is a budget chipset. I think that does it. If you have any questions about this particular tablet, let me know in the comment section. I'm going to catch you there like I always do. If you want a more comprehensive take, like I've already said, make sure to go ahead and watch the other videos that I've made on this particular tablet, right? So I'm going to catch you in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I make videos like this all the time. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like, of course. Make sure to share this. If you know anyone who is interested or who is in the market for a Galaxy Tab A8, I will catch you in the comment section for your questions, or let's just get the discussion going. I also will catch you in the next video. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.